I don't know if I created it or if it created itself or somebody else has done it. There's 2 or 3 different things out there called 50/50, so I call it a 50/50. It's basically it's a style. It's I don't know what you want to call it. It's 2 different styles put together, I guess. As a lot of you know, I'm a Kreelex nuts. So I got thinking the Kreelex minnow is well, in the last couple of 3-4 years or 5 years, it's really come on its own. The other pattern is a Clouser, and the 2 of them are so close together that they're very kissing cousins, if you want, or they're almost Siamese twins. So anyways, I decided I would call it a 50/50, and it's, like I said, it's a combination of a Clouser and a Kreelex. I am using Kreelex for part of the body. I'm not using deer hair. The Clouser was created with deer hair. I am using synthetic all the way through. So anyways, we'll do it. You can do it on any size. I've tied them, I don't know, size 8, size 10, right up to size 2. I used a size 2. I got a chance to do something that I've wanted for years and years. A friend of mine made me an offer to go to the Kakwa, the upper Kakwa actually, and he had a quad, he had the room, he had the food, the whole ball of wax. So we went up there. So I got a chance to fish the Torrens, and I got a chance actually to fish the Kakwa. I didn't get to fish below the falls on the Kakwa. Unfortunately, this body can't do things that I used to be able to do. It's straight rope down and up, so it would be work. The buddy that took me, he went down, he says, and there were some 20-year-olds trying to get up. He says that they worked their buns off to get back up. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go down there, but well, he was doing that. I did some fishing, and I used this 50/50, and it wasn't 4 or 5 casts, and I was into about a 20, I say roughly a 22-inch rainbow. So it does work, and I can't see why not. And I also used it on the Torrens in a smaller size 6, I believe it was, and I was catching cuts like crazy. That's the only thing that they would take. I couldn't get them to take a dry fly. They would just, all they would take was this 50/50. This one was purple and gold for the cuts. The one that I caught the rainbow on was basically crystal flash and gold. So anyways, so that's the story on it. So it's nothing spectacular other than the fact that maybe I can give you a little bit easier methods of tying the material on and making the head look half decent. And that's where a lot of people back away from the Clouser, and even a little bit on the Kreelex, because the originals were, you kind of guessed on the size of the head and getting it on there and not crowding the eye and stuff like that. So I'm using a 4X. This is a 6 4X. Did I screw? Oh, I'm sorry.
Was it?
Okay. Like I said, the fish that I caught was on a 2 4X, so yeah, they work. It doesn't matter what size hook you're using, I guess. And that's the same with all these patterns. You don't have to be stuck with the hook they say. If you've got a hook that you think will look or work just as good as what the original is made out of, don't be scared to use it. You know, that's, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, you know, a 3X or a 4X or a 2X, I've done some on 2Xs even, you know, so. So I'm using a 6/0 thread. And come down to where you think you want the eye, or Isa. And what did I do with my Isa? I'm using medium. I find that the small and the medium likely work the best, or look the best. I mean, I've used the large on the bigger sizes, of course. I've done some in 2/0. I think I did some up in 2/0, but that's when I start using the large. And I'll just put a drop of this in there. And then I'm going to I'm not going to do it tonight, but normally what I would do is either tie it off, or I would take it right out of the vise, and I would put this on the table with the eyes down, and try and make that hook as close to being straight on as I can. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to do it to the fact that it looks like it's okay. Pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to take my crystal flash. This is pearl, or I guess I will call it pearlescent. I also have, I thought I did. I have another one that I haven't tried yet, but I'm going to give it a shot. I kind of like it. And this is pearlescent, but it's smoke, and it's kind of got a little bit of a gray tinge to it. So I think that might work not too bad too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a clump here. And it doesn't have to be really, really heavy, because you're going to get another piece of this in there, and you don't want to make, again, you don't want to make it super bulky, because minnows aren't really all that bulky in the water. I'm just going to take this, and I'm putting it right there. Tie that down. And I'm going to, did I get that? Tie that back. And I just guesstimate on the length I want. I don't measure, I just take a look at it and I think, I like that length, and I'll cut it off at that length. And then I'm going to save that, put that right there. Now, when you put weight on top of the hook, that hook is going to flip over. So your top is going to be the belly, the bottom is going to be the top, okay? So when you're tying dumbbell eyes on like this, or anything that's got weight that puts it on top of the hook, it's going to flip it over, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gold. Now this is the actual Kreelex, or Kreelex as you call it, as they actually call it. It moves really, really nice in the water. It's actually a lot stronger than you think. It's actually got 2 or 3 fibers in it, and that's part of the reason why it actually moves as good as it does in the water, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chunk of this, or I'm going to try to. I do apologize. I actually got some better Kreelex at home, but I can't find it. We did a kind of a half-ass move in the summer, and some of the stuff just kind of went missing. Now, this is one of the secrets here on how to make the head of your Clousers and the head of your Kreelexes look a lot easier and better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to come through and come right to the eye of the hook. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it and wrap it around. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that right where I want it, right there. So I want it right there. So now it's right there. So I'm going to wrap there, and then I'm going to wrap over top of it. Now I've got a small head there now. I don't have a great big lump there that a lot of times you see happens. Okay, now with the Kreelex, the actual Kreelex minnow, you pull that over, and what you're going to do is you're going to tie that down right there. This is up to this spot is the actual Kreelex. So you're going to put 4 or 5 wraps here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that gold, and the Kreelex, what they did is, instead of coming back to where the tail is, what he done was he come to the bend of the hook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come roughly, and he measured his. Charles Kraft, when he did it, he was actually measured the length and make sure everything was right on. I'm sorry, I don't measure nothing. I guess to put everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off roughly to where that bend is. Okay. Now with the Kreelex, you do the same, except you're not tying it down on the belly side of it. Okay. So ooh, I'm getting me a new vise. This thing has been acting up terribly lately. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm bringing this over to the front again. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this crystal flash that I have and do the same thing. I hope. Yeah, I am. And again, I'm going to put that right there at the eye of the hook, do my 3 or 4 wraps, tip that out of the way. And then and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to measure this out, and whoa, lo and behold, it's the exact same length, and the hook is sharp. So, and this is where if I was to do it as a Kreelex, I would cut it off here. But the original Clouser, the deer hair went, there was no, it wasn't tied down behind the eye like the rest of them were, or like the Kreelex and stuff like that. Okay, so what that does, it allows the top to be movement in the water. Okay, so now with doing it that way, you don't have that great big knot here in the front, bunched up to the eye. I can remember doing some Clousers that look pretty mean for heads, I'll tell you. And then I would just do that, do a whip finish on it. What the? Oh, come on. Unbelievable. Can't even do a whip finish tying. With streamers, a lot of times I'll do 2 whip finishes on it just to make sure. I'm going to see if I can do it here. See, if I just cut it, oh no, it's going to cut all right, so okay, never mind. And then I would take my red, and there's my 50-50. Like I said, there's likely other guys out there that's tied something very similar, so there you go.